very good morning to one and all. On behalf of SPJIMR Institute of Management Research, Mumbai, we accord a very warm welcome to each and every one of you to the 12th Annual ISDSI Conference 2018.
The Decision Sciences Institute is a professional non-profit organization with a global presence, involving academicians and practitioners who continually work towards the enhancement of managerial decision-making. The Indian Subcontinent Decision Sciences Institute, or ISDSI, a region of the DSI, is an interdisciplinary organization dedicated to the advancement of the science and practice of education and research about managerial decisions. The ISDSI conference provides a platform for academicians, researchers, and practitioners to disseminate research, provide and obtain insights into challenges and opportunities, and explore cutting-edge ideas and analytical tools in the domain of decision-making. The theme for this year's conference is data-driven decision-making in the digital age.
Today, we have gathered here for the inauguration of the Doctoral Colloquium as part of the conference. We begin the ceremony by the lighting of the lamp. Now invite Dr. C. Rajendran, Dr. Ranjan Banerjee, Dr. Abhijit Digalwar, Dr. Anthony Paulraj, Dr. Sriram Narayanan, and Dr. Sajeev Abraham George to please come onto the stage and light the lamp to mark the beginning of this event.
Thank you. The Doctoral Colloquium provides a stage to PhD and FAM students to showcase their research to other students and field experts. They obtain valuable feedback and insights from a distinguished panel of reviewers to further augment their research. We now invite Dr. Anthony Paulraj, lead faculty of the Doctoral Colloquium, ISDSI, and professor in Information Systems and Operations Management, Nottingham University Business School, China, to shed some light on the program and deliver the welcome address for the Doctoral Colloquium. Please welcome Dr. Anthony Paulraj.
So how are you guys? How many of you are participants of the Colloquium? I thought we are like 30 something, huh? Are you guys all coming late? Huh? That's good. So anyway, I thought like I'm going to talk only for a couple of minutes, and I was told that I have 10 minutes, right? So I have to say something. So first off, I think I should thank Sajeev and Sriram. Could you guys raise your hands, please? Yeah, so these are the guys who asked me to coordinate this. I thank you for the opportunity. I think I worked with both of them to put together something that will help the participants, but that's the idea, right? So I think after talking to Sriram, we decided like most of the time it happens this way. Like people who come from outside do these colloquiums, and sometimes it doesn't match with the requirements of the faculty or the students who are here. So we put together a program in such a way that we invited over like 10 or 12 mentors to be to participate, at least in the afternoon sessions. But it so happened that half of them backed out. For whatever reason. I think they all had good reasons. So eventually you are going to deal with all the guys who came from abroad. At least more than half of us are going to be here. So the idea is this. We want to share as much information that we can with you guys. But we will go from our point of view, right? A lot of different sessions focusing on teaching, career, research will be the main focus, I would say. We will share what we share, but I think you guys should get what you want from us, right? So you need to ask us questions, right? And you need to make sure that your doubts are cleared, and you should make sure that maybe we'll help you in going the right path, depending on which year of the PhD program you are in, right? That's what we are thinking of. So let me ask you a question. How many of you are going to ask a lot of questions? One, just one person? All right. How many, you don't know which group you are in, right? So we'll tell you guys which group you are in later. Do you have any questions for me now? Not right now. All right, I think without much ado, I'll let the other guys talk. Welcome everyone, and I hope you guys have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you for the warm welcome, sir. Now, I invite Dr. Abhijit Digalwar, the President of ISDSI, and also the Associate Professor at BITS Pilani, to address the gathering.
Okay. Yeah, very good morning. Respected dignitaries, faculty members, participants, students, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all in this very important event of the ISDSI, which we designed specially for the research scholars. Let me share with you what is the ISDSI and what about this complete program which we have designed especially for the research scholars as well as for the early career faculty members. So ISDSI is a regional body of the Decision Sciences Institute of USA, formed with an objective to promote the culture of quality research in India and Indian subcontinent, and to provide a platform to the academic leaders, faculty members, industry practitioners, students, to share their ideas, to share their knowledge, to collaborate, to network, and to have the healthy discussion. And for this purpose, we are organizing the conference every year in the last week of December or in the first week of January. The very first conference was organized in 2007 at it was in IMT Ghaziabad, and the last year we organized it in IIM Trichy, and this year we are here in SPJIMR Institute of Management and Research. And if you can look at the conference schedule, it is of 3 days and fully packed with a parallel technical sessions and the many panel discussions and the workshop by the various experts, national as well as the international. And we are not getting enough time to spend on the research scholars. They are giving us a lot of feedback. They want more inputs. They want more feedbacks, okay? And if you can look at the various panel discussions and the workshop, the one workshop which we were organizing every year was publishing in a high quality journal, okay, which was designed and supported by the Professor Jeet Gupta, Professor Ram Narasimhan, Professor Sri Ram, Professor Subhash Sarin, Professor Natarajan. They were giving us the guidance and the support. And as you know that over the period, we got a huge response, and this ISDSI proven as a principal platform for the researcher to showcase their work. So along with the quantity, we felt that quality is also very important. So to improve the quality, it is essential to provide the guidance. And to overcome that difficulty and to utilize the available expertise for the benefit of the young researchers, we thought we should have the one complete day for the benefit of our research scholars. So last year, I'm happy to inform you that Professor Subhash Sareen and the Professor Maitri designed this particular doctoral curriculum. And this year, I'm happy to share that Professor Sriram and Professor Anthony, along with Professor Saju, took the lead and designed this whole day program for the benefit of all research scholars and the early career faculty members. So I hope this whole day will be very much helpful, and we'll get a lot of inputs for the improvement of the quality. And you know that in Indian scenario, we are not lagging into the publication. We are the researchers, we are publishing it. And recently that UGC had one meeting, and in that also they found there was a concern over the suspicious or the low quality journals. We are publishing in a low quality journals. We are wasting our publications. So why not we should improve the publication? So that was one study was available that has done under that vice chairman of the UGC, and they found that they have taken a sample of 1,009 journals, and they found almost 88% of the journals are the suspicious into the quality. That out of 88%, 34.5% journals had no relevant data. There was no relevant data like a web sites, there was no editorial details, no addresses were found. And the 54 or 53.5% journals they found with a very, what you can say, the no ISSN number. That kind of the things were found. And that is how we are spoiling our image. So to overcome and to enhance our image, it is essential to improve the quality of our research, and we should take the guidance from the available experts at international as well as the national levels. They are coming all the way for this particular conference. So I hope this whole day will be very fruitful and enjoyable for all the research scholars and all the young faculty members who are into the research, and hope you will wrap up this day with excellent knowledge and the experience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We now invite our beloved Dean, Dr. Anjan Banerjee, co-author of the recently released book, The Made in India Manager, to please come on stage and share his thoughts on this occasion.
So our respected guests, faculty members from across the world, and of course our own SPJIMR faculty, doctoral students from across the country, and all the guests. It's a pleasure to address the doctoral consortium. I'll just pick up where the last speaker left off, talking about what we need to do to build quality in research. I have a fairly strong point of view, which those in the institute have probably got bored of hearing. There are two elements to quality research. One element is rigor. I believe it is in rigor that the training that we can get from international researchers is the most valuable. There are many ways of looking at rigor. The way I like to look at rigor is that if you claim to have proved something, have you proved it conclusively to the satisfaction of your peers? Rigor starts mostly with internal validity, has some elements of external validity. So I believe rigor is where we can learn the most from the West. However, I believe that if India is to truly emerge as a country which is doing research which matters, we must also blaze our own trail. We must not only learn from what the West has to teach us, we must also look at relevance. And what does relevance mean? I think India is a remarkable country with a lot of problems. And all problems need a rigorous approach. So I believe the large opportunity for Indian researchers is to engage with industry, A lot of new things are happening in industry. So if we are engaging with problems that matter, and then bringing rigor to problems that matter, that is how we will create quality research. To me, the journal is an element of publication. Publication is a consequence. Quality research is something that you do because you want to believe in what you are writing. You want to do research which addresses real questions, and you are genuinely curious about understanding the true causes of things. We live in a world which is changing. There are many changes. We are talking about data-driven decision making. The biggest change is earlier we could only get some of the information we needed. Today, with sensors, with IoT, with big data, you can have whatever information you want, where you want it, and when you want it. But that comes at a cost. Therefore, you now have to ask yourself, where do I want the information? When do I want the information? And when I have it, how will I use it? So, learning this, understanding the questions and the decisions that decision makers must take, understanding how data and information must be designed to answer those questions, and the more real questions you answer, the more you will look at relevance. Rigor is what we need to learn and grow on. This balance between relevance and rigor, I believe, will create a model for researchers of the future. And I believe researchers of the future should not just play the publication game, but they should have a sense of idealism. That your research must matter to people in the outside world, and that all starts by having good questions, questions that matter. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those insightful words, sir. Going ahead, it is time to felicitate the chief guest of today, Dr. C. Rajendran, Professor at the Department of Management Studies, IIT Madras. May I request Dr. Anthony Paulraj to please introduce our chief guest, Dr. C. Rajendran.
Normally I don't like using notes, but this time I have to because I don't want to miss anything. So Dr. C. Rajendran, he's a Rags Family Foundation Institute Chair Professor at Department of Management Studies, IIT Madras, where he, of course, finished his PhD and had been working since 1987. So he has a mechanical engineering, industrial engineering background. I'm thinking he's just like a mechanical engineer like I am. When I open a car, I don't know what's in there. I think he knows. His research interests are in operations research and operations management. He has over 100 publications in top international operations research and management journals. He's a recipient of Alexander von Humboldt Fellowship in Germany. He also received an honorary doctorate from the University of Passau, Germany. He has been elected as a fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineering starting this year, right? And these are some of the accolades, but the most important ones. He's ranked number 15 in terms of H-index for over like 44,000 authors around the world. Was published in top 20 operations management journals. He's ranked among top 10 among over 7,000 authors who were published in International Journal of Production Research and well-acclaimed international journal in OR and OM, I would say. And he's ranked number 1 over 1,400 faculty members across, like, of course, functional areas of management in the top 32 business schools. And apart from all these, when I started my PhD career, I started it at IIT Madras. So he was my advisor. But it didn't so happen that I couldn't complete it at IIT Madras. I went to the US. But I can tell you one thing. I've always thought that academia is not a job. It's actually life. I learned it from him. He always takes all his PhD students to his home, and he's always training them to ensure that they're good scholars. I'm so happy that I became an academic after knowing him, right? Without much ado, it gives me immense pleasure in inviting Dr. C. Rajendran to come and deliver the inaugural address.
So Professor Banerjee, Professor Vaidhi, Professor Sriram, Professor Saji, and my dear student, Professor Anthony Paulraj. I think among those of you who know Tamil, I'm sure you can appreciate this. The English translation is difficult for me to say. That is, before more than the time the child was born, the mother is so happy to see the child being called, elected, being called a scholar. So I take the position of, I should say, in German they say, Doctor Father, that is, it's a doctoral father. So same way I take privilege and so happy to see Antony Palraj, excelling in research. As all of you know, he's been ranked on one of the top, authors in Journal of Operations Management and got, I think, Best Paper Award. So the fact that, went to US shows that he doesn't have faith in me, so he ran to US. So no wonder he's doing very well. I think correct decision he has made. But really honored to be here because nice to share the dais with my student, who makes us proud. And I think real pleasure and privilege comes for the parent when the child grows up and excels father or mother. Same way we are so happy that he has done so well as a student and makes us, the teachers, proud. So thanks for inviting me, Paul, to this conference. Thank you very much. So I started my career in IIT Madras. Okay, I did my mechanical engineering from College of Engineering, Guindy, Masters in Industrial Engineering. And as rightly said, since I know that I was not good at hands, therefore I switched to industrial engineering, as many of us do after graduation mechanical engineering. And then across the road, went to IIT Madras for my PhD. So it's a nice journey because in 1985 I joined for PhD in IIT Madras. So in fact, I tried to go abroad, to be honest, but at those days, getting visa was a nightmarish exercise. So couldn't get my visa, all for good, stayed back in the country. Started doing my PhD in IIT Madras in 1985. Then faculty position came, last batch of students to be taken without PhD in IIT Madras. So somehow I managed to get into IIT Madras in 1987, thanks to Professor Narendran, Rajagopal, and Ambirajan. Joined the faculty in 1987, then did continue with my PhD. So it's a long journey. So 1981, I became the assistant professor. Thereafter, in 96, associate and professor, and so on. IIT Madras is a great place, which I'll once again talk about. It's a place where I think the trust drives more than the what you should say, rituals or the rules. So I always keep quoting this incident. So I got the Alexander von Humboldt Fellowship of Germany, which is a lifelong fellowship. Unlike many of the fellowships in the world, like some of them just one-time affair. Okay, once you get it, that's it. So Alexander von Humboldt Fellowship is possibly the only fellowship in the world that gives you lifetime fellowship. I got the fellowship way back in 1995. Went to Germany in 1986 at the age of 36. At the age of 55, once again I went on Alexander von Humboldt Fellowship about 3 years back. And once again, I plan to go, when I turn 60, I want to go to, once again, 2 years from now, I want to go to Germany on the Alexander von Humboldt Fellowship. So that's a nice, fantastic fellowship because once a Humboldt Fellow, you are a Humboldt Fellow lifelong. That's the principle of the foundation. And what is more interesting, what is more exciting about the fellowship is that, the type of, the recognition honor that you get. The full family of the Alexander von Humboldt Fellows are invited by the President of Germany to his official residence. At that time, the official residence was in Bonn. So my wife, my daughter, and I were invited to the official residence of Germany, German President. And then we spent about 1 hour. The President, I still remember the President was standing here. My daughter was playing with the doll there. That is the level of, the recognition that Humboldt Fellow Foundation gives to the scholars. And then we have 1 hour interaction. I have the photos also with me where my wife's photo appeared to the German President in the official diary of Germany. So why I'm talking about Alexander von Humboldt Fellowship is that, one thing, you do your doctoral degree, you finish your graduation, then you join the faculty, what next? Many of the times we always think in terms of getting a tenure track. After 3 years, you become assistant professor. After PhD, then you become associate professor. That's how we always go. But what happens is that when you go on a postdoc, it's once again, your doctoral career or life reinvented a different way. You have a mentor, not a guide. There comes the issue. How do you carry on research on your own? First of all, why should you go on postdoc? The greatest advantage of postdoc is that whatever mistakes, lessons that you have learned in the PhD, you try to correct it, you try to revisit. And when you go there, there's nobody to question you. Unlimited freedom, full scholarship. Now they give about 4,000 euro, as a scholarship when you go on Humboldt Fellowship, So, unlimited freedom, mentor, and you have to guide on your own. You have to guide yourself on your own. That's a nice thing about, about the postdoc, And the exposure that you have in a different country. You can always do postdoc in your own country, fine. But when you go to a different country, you not only learn from academics there, you also learn from people. It's nice to be in Germany because Germany is, as you know, highly disciplined country. Okay, for those who are going to Germany, you'll know, because my daughter, did her PhD from Penn State. Okay, now she's a faculty member in University of Missouri at Columbia. Go to US, I don't know, my experience, maybe Anthony can correct me if I am wrong. You go there, 11 o'clock the bus is supposed to come, sometimes come 10:55, sometimes 11:05. Okay, in Germany, 11 means 11. No way the driver will take the bus without even 1 minute this side or that side. No way. It's wait for the people to come, then only leave the place. Okay, the connectivity everywhere. You learn from people. The way even they drive the clothes, in the house, there's a pattern. It's not zigzag pattern that we do. Okay, so learn a lot from people. Germans, supposedly, okay, not warm. No, once they become friends, they're lifelong friends. When they say great, it's really great. No question of saying great for the sake of saying. Okay, so you learn a lot from them. Okay, so having given a quick introduction, let me start. Okay, well, I started my PhD thesis in 1985. Okay, then at that time scheduling, okay, even now scheduling is a big area, okay, fantastic area because it has got different avatars, scheduling in healthcare, scheduling, okay, for example, Mumbai Dabara, once again a classic example where I always quote in terms of multiple aspects of operations, in terms of, let us say, the hub and spoke, milk run, TSP, vehicle routing, okay, cross-docking, many of these concepts and operations we find in place. Perhaps that works because they don't know operations management, okay. So basically what happens is that you find a lot of takeaways from one particular domain to another particular domain. Okay, so in this case, I started my research. I thought I'll just go through my experience as a researcher. What all I learned, perhaps you can always rectify. Okay, so I started my research in the area of scheduling. Want to work, in the area of flow shops. He talked about Jeet Gupta, one of the most renowned persons in the area of scheduling. Okay, he was there last year in IIM Trichy. I still remember I met him. Okay, so basically started with MakeSpan. Maximize utilization of machines. Okay, that was sort of the well-known objective that people deal with. Unfortunately, people like Gupta have already worked on that. So I tried to work further on that, found that I'm hitting my head against literally a wall. I know that I cannot break through. I realized that a bit later. Then what's the way out? Start looking for other objectives. For example, flow time, minimizing inventory, okay, which people aren't dealt with. Many other times in literature, you find people take one particular problem, one particular objective, one particular methodology, try to beat it, because that's the way they go. But if they want to try to deviate from the, let us say, well-defined problem statement, take a different objective, take a different environment, you find that you can make your mark. Okay, so basically what happened, I just switched over from the well-known objective of minimizing MakeSpan to the objective of minimizing inventory. I found that many people have not worked. Okay, which means that there's a huge arena, huge opening for me where I can make a mark instead of going the beaten track. Okay, then once again, at that time, I'm talking about good many 30, 35 years back, many people are not even talked about multiple objectives. Okay, so start looking at multiple objectives, minimizing flow time, minimizing MakeSpan, maximizing the utilization, and so on. Found that I could know some progress could be made, and journalists are willing to publish, provided you tell something that has not been dealt with much before. Okay, so just switched over to that. Now came my guide, which is Deepak Chaudhary. Okay, incredible person. He's from Bengal, absolute disciplinarian. Okay, he told me one thing. Okay. He gave me a list of journals, starting from obviously operations research, going down up to Journal of Our Society. Okay, he said these are journals in which I wanted to publish. Okay, I don't care whether it takes 6 years or 3 years or 10 years. I want 2 publications out of these 10 journals that I give you. Either you publish or you get out. That's the only dictate that he gave to me. At that time, I was wondering, that man looked like devil to me, because send many papers. Those days you have to send by post. To reach, it will take 1 month. To get a credit, it will take another month. Review reports will come after 6 months. Reject, revise, we don't know. Okay, sent a paper to management science, came for revision, resubmitted it. One referee said yes, other referee said no. They changed the stand when seeing the revision. So this thing went on forever. At that time, I was really cursing my guide. Okay, now he the fact that he told me 2 out of, let us say, 10 or 15, as he said, 20 journals, then it forced me to give my best. Okay, there's no way to shortcut. There's no way by which I can publish anything else that is not given by him. So that really defined the benchmark, that defined the attitude for me. Okay, so what he pushed me, or how he pushed me towards pushing my limits, okay, going the extra mile, that kept me, sustained in my research endeavor. I'm really grateful to him that, I know that he inculcated the highest level, at least to me, highest level of the standards in terms of publication. Professor Banerjee and Professor, they were talking about, level of research, Abhijit, okay? So this is what I like to tell you. When you do a PhD, all of us want to finish the PhD in 3 years, 4 years. You see our neighbor graduating. He has finished in 3 years. I have finished in 4 years. Okay, Sriram was talking about my own student Adelina. Okay, it's not a question of, he was just jokingly mentioning. I know that, Sriram is, much more competent than my own student. But he said she finished in 4 years. I took 5 years. Okay, end of the day, it's not the number of years that you take. End of the day, how you define your standards with respect to your future students. Unless you publish in top-ranked journals, you've got no right, no moral right, or no way which you can force your student to publish in a journal, in set of journals equal to or above that, because the student will always turn back and say, what is your track record? Okay, it's better to wait, push, rather than trying to finish the PhD. I know that all of you have come, all of us, many of us come from middle class family, we have to earn, but nevertheless, end of the day, okay, if you try to find a shortcut to success, it's not going to sustain you lifelong, okay? Then, as I told you, started looking at, different types of research, different variants of the problem statement, and so on. Of course, the greatest strength comes from your parents, from your family, okay? Then, as I told you, bring the best, okay? Still remember, my aunt told me when I was young, okay, apparently John F. Kennedy's father told him, okay, because you know that, he's the first, I think, one of the first Catholic presidents to be elected as the president of US, right? I think his father was the ambassador of US to UK, okay? So he wanted his sons to become the presidents of United States. So he called his son and said, okay, I don't care whether you become the president of the United States. I don't care whether you become a scavenger in New York City. You become a scavenger in New York City, be the best scavenger New York City has ever seen. Become the president of America, be the best president that America has ever seen. So in other words, the benchmark is not Anthony Paulraj, benchmark is yourself. Okay? You try to push your limits. As long as you do your best, be happy about that. Okay? It does not matter whether you sent the top journal or the lowest ranked journal. To me, I don't care. To me, somebody picks up my paper tomorrow and says, it's a lousy journal paper. Who published this? That is much more devastating for me than to find somebody saying that, hey, this fellow has published in a low-ranked journal. That is better. Instead of saying that how this paper got into top-ranked journal, how this paper got published at all. So in other words, please understand, you are the benchmark. Start comparing the others, saying that, okay, for example, SPJIMR is published in operations management, operations research. I have published only in, computers and OR. It's not going to help me. I'll be landing myself in misery. I'll be landing myself in jealousy, okay? So don't set your benchmarks with respect to others. Say you are the benchmark for you. Push your limits, okay? Then, as I told you, you finish your PhD, then what is the next option? Many times people go out for faculty position. I'll only say, please wait. You have got another 40 to 50 years of your professional life ahead of you, okay? I mean, God willing, I'm sure all of you will live up to 70, 80 years. If that is the case, what's a great hurry for you to take a faculty position? Look out for postdoc, okay? Because go outside. For those who are from India, please see the world. You are not seeing the world in terms of doing PhD. Please see the world at least in terms of doing postdoc. Apply to different countries in the world. Plenty of countries offer JSPS from Japan, okay? And then you have, as I told you, Deutsche Academic Exchange, German Academic Exchange Service from Germany. Alexander von Humboldt Fellowship, to me, is one of the best in the world, because I don't think in any other fellowship you get invited by the president of the country to be, for a reception in his official residence. It's possibly the only foundation that honors his research fellows to the, to the president's place, okay? So basically, please go for postdoc. And whether it is, whether it's going to be in Canada or to Australia, does not matter. Please see the world. And why? Because when you go for a postdoc, you're not supposed to work in the same area of research. You're supposed to diversify. It gives an opportunity for you to diversify. Otherwise, you'll keep working in the same area of research that you're comfortable with. You'll come to the comfort zone. When you work with other peers, other research groups in the world, you see how competitive they are. Go and work in a place where, this man finished his PhD in Cleveland State. Go and work. You will find that how the world is moving. Okay, so that's precisely one of the reasons that, one of the reasons why you should go abroad for a postdoc. Please proceed on postdoc. Does not matter you take up a job now. Okay, many of you what happens, get a job, you get married, get a child, you think that I'll do it next year, never comes. Okay, at any point of time, okay, please do that. It's also a matter of honor, because in IIT, whenever we apply for higher rank, they always ask you, where is your postdoc? We've done a PhD from here, where is a postdoc? Okay, that question you have to answer. The world is becoming very competitive nowadays. Okay, and versatility. Okay, I started my research in the area of, let us say, branch and bound, integer programming, and so on. But I found that when I started doing research, I found that that's not going to be the only domain in which I can concentrate. I would diversify. Got students who are not comfortable with mathematical modeling, they want to work in empirical research. Okay, it's an opportunity for me, because when the student diversifies, when you sit with him and work, okay, then your vision also improves. The student wanted to work in the area of empirical research, TQM in manufacturing sector. Next came another student, his own classmate, okay, who wanted to do in the area of TQM in banking sector. Then came another student who wants to work in the area of TQM, quality management, quality service in the area of healthcare, okay, in education, okay, in hospitality. Okay, so this is an opportunity for you to diversify. Please never be in your comfort zone. Okay, now all of us talking about data analytics. Everybody's talking. In fact, I was talking to Vaidhi. He said that GLIM has been ranked number 3 in the world in the area of analytics. Okay, so how do you find yourself? I don't have a background in analytics. I don't know what is deep learning. I don't know what are the ML techniques. But what I'm going to do. Okay, if I find a young person in my own department, I have Nandan who is working in the area of data analytics. Okay, if I find them working, talking about new jargons, how am I going to find myself in the new world of analytics? Okay, then came the thought, why should I worry about ML techniques? Why can't I look at typical OR models like integer program, try to use linear program, even though it's not possible, still I try to identify how we can use mathematical models for clustering, how we can use mathematical models for classification, how can we use mathematical models for forecasting. So what we did was we tried to look at first started with integer programming model for classification, found that cannot handle large size data sets. So what do you do? Then try to sort of mimic it through linear program and try to solve the problem. We found that we got excellent classification, okay, in terms of good or bad deaths or good or bad diagnosis and so on. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is that there is a way for you to adapt yourself. Okay, the people working in optimization, I think this is all the more, more apt for you people to find out how we can integrate operations research with data analytics. Okay, so like for the clustering, recently we found a paper, in a journal where people look at a typical integer programming model, okay, in terms of social network. Okay, how do you identify people who are sort of, the famous karateka problem? I don't know how many of you have heard of that, where the president and the trainer parted ways. Then it became 2 clusters. Yeah, how people divided. Okay, it's a very famous problem. Zakari is the person who wrote the paper. So we looked at the paper. People typically use K-means, deep K-means, and so on. Then I looked at the same paper and said, why should I follow the same path? Why can't I look at different ways of solving the problem? When I turned to literature, I found that people are looking at, let us say, typically looking at the clustering problem. Then once again, should I have to look into that? No. Can I have a different way of looking at the problem? The same problem, same social media, can I model it in a different way so I can discover something more out of that rather than doing, in terms of taking the beaten way? Okay, so when I was interacting with the company in Chennai called Latent View, they told me the following. They are one of the leading analytics companies in the country. Okay, so what they said is that there are 2 types of people, 2 types of clients we have. One that wants excellent predictability. I want only accuracy. I don't care explainability. I don't want to explain how it is working. I just want to say classify. That is it. The other type of clients who want to know why it is getting classified. What are the underlying variables that divide these into 2 or 3 or 4 clusters? How do they do that? Okay, so we want to know the models. We want to get to more insight into the models that give us explainability than accuracy. Then they said, can your models help us to do that? Okay, can help your models help my clients to understand the underlying phenomenon in the system. Okay, so that opens up new area of research for us, especially people in the area of optimization. So that's what I'm trying to say. Please try to venture into unknown arenas. That's a key for survival. Okay. Then the research experience, as I told you, working in Germany is a different experience by itself. Okay, because the Germans initially may be very cold, but they're one of the best people in the world to me, very warm. Okay, even now I know that if I go to Germany, I can walk into any of my friends and stay with them for any number of days, because lifelong, it's association. When I got married, when my daughter got married, and Paul was there, the first row was fully occupied by Germans. Okay. That's the value of relationship they give. Okay, many of them flew from their country to, you know, from Germany to attend the wedding of my daughter. They are not obliged to do, because the value of relationship. Please understand, in research, we talk about networking, talk collaboration. No, we should talk about relationship. Okay, you have a good relationship that goes beyond research into personal relationship. I think that relationship stands forever. That's much more important than academic relationship. Okay, and then as I told you, we talk in terms of, you know, things, okay, and so on. Seem to believe, see the country. And not only that, when you go to Europe, okay, when you go to Germany, look at other countries, look at history, look at the churches, the type of churches they have. Amazing. Okay, you learn from them. Okay, and interactive exposure is a must. Okay, at least for those who have done the PhD within the country, please go and see outside the world. Okay, that's. Then once again, go to a place where, you know, where I think difficult to say, because I'm in IIT, research is, you know, is part and parcel of my system. If I don't produce papers, I cannot survive. Professor Anand, you know, my former director used to say, I don't care, even don't get me 1 rupee to IIT, I don't care, get me 1 paper. That's how he used to always say. And he used to always say, when I was head of the department, he said, you take any number of PhD students, no problem. I'll give you all the fellowships that you need, but can you get the number of students that you want, good quality students? That's a big question mark. Okay, as I told you, once what happened, I got the fellowship once again in 2006. I want to go to Germany. The previous year I went to Germany. I know typical government of India service, you know, I signed a bond saying that I will work for next 1 year, not take leave and so on. I just signed it. Next year, once again, I applied for fellowship. I got the fellowship for 2 months. Okay, what happened? I just applied for fellowship. I was at home. 9:30 in the morning, I was at home. I got a phone call. There was just no mobile, nothing. I got a phone call. I picked the phone call. And then he said, director wants to talk to you. I said, my God, I'm sitting at home. He's in the office. Then he said in Tamil, Rajendran, ni kalam pola. That is, you can start. You can go. He kept the receiver down. Only 1 minute, one conversation. Look at the message he's conveying. He's a top man. I'm nowhere before him. But still he wants to give the message that he cares for research. That single statement of Professor Anand, that is enough for me to make me feel I spend 1 minute at home, you know, during working hours, I must be accountable to myself. Okay, that's a message that he gave. The leadership matters a lot. Okay, many times we always keep saying that I work in an environment where there's no recognition for research. Agreed. When you look for external recognition, you feel bad. Look for your own internal recognition, your own internal satisfaction. Then you feel happy wherever you are. Okay. Don't worry about whether you are bound to do, let us say, get some consultancy. Many of us, especially people in engineering departments, are forced to get projects. Okay, I know in US, I know how difficult it is because my daughter is working in the industry department. They are supposed to get $1 million before 6 years, otherwise she will not get tenure. Okay, that's a problem in engineering departments. My sincere suggestion to all of you is that don't care. Okay, even remain assistant professor lifelong, remain assistant professor, but do something that excites you. So far, I'm not exaggerating, I just got only 1 lakh rupee as sponsored project from DST. So far I got only 5 lakhs towards consultancy. That's my track record as far as consultancy and project is concerned. Okay, pathetic by IIT standards, to be honest, because all my colleagues have got in crores. I didn't care. I said my ambition, my passion is for research. I'll keep publishing, I don't care. Okay. End of the day, please understand that wins. As you know, as he introduced you to me, introduced me to you, okay, I was selected as a fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineering only by virtue of my research, not for my project, not for my patents, not for my consultancy. Okay, so that gets sometime rewarded externally, but internally you have satisfaction that you groom people like, you know, Anthony. That is satisfaction that comes lifelong for you. So end of the day, please understand, okay, many times, okay, you have to work. If you expect your students to work up to 12 o'clock at midnight, you should be in a position to respond to them at 12 o'clock at midnight. You send a message by WhatsApp, you must be in a position to respond to them. No excuse. You can't say that you work up to 12 o'clock, I'll sleep from 10 o'clock. You can't afford to say that. As guides, as faculty members, we are bound to be a role model to our students. That's the only way by which you can, push the students to the limits. Okay, and then, okay, most important, all of us are blessed to be born to good parents. All of us are blessed to work in good institutes like IIT, IIMs, SPJIMR, and so on. Many of us are not privileged to be born to good parents. Many of us are not privileged to study in good institutions. I stand here because I have studied in College of Engineering, Guindy, where Anthony also graduated. I studied in IIT, I work in IIT. Okay, not because I deserve it, because God decided that way. Many of the people who are better than me or could not pursue higher studies. They have to go for job because their parents were in no position to support them. So we have been blessed by God in many ways. Okay. Then our duty is to give back to society. As rightly said by Professor Banerjee, okay, you have to do something back to society, either in terms of research or in terms of other activities. You are, okay, so unless otherwise you give back to society, okay, our country cannot come up. Okay. So coming to journal publication is always a challenge. Okay, you try to publish the top-ranked journals. You call, I think many of the schools in India nowadays follow Australian Business Reviews Council, ABTC ranking, A-star, A, B, C, and so on. That's a major, it's a problem for us. Why? Top-heavy, only few A-star, A journals, and we have to keep pushing to that. We don't have a choice. Okay, so as I told you, we are in a system where people, unfortunately or fortunately, judge you on the basis of where you publish and not what you publish. Okay, they judge you on the basis of where you work. Okay, not on the basis of what you are. Okay, that's the bottom line truth. Okay, so best thing is that please try for top-ranked journals. Never underestimate your own work. When you submit a paper, see for yourself why the paper should be rejected, why the paper should be accepted. So these are two questions you have to ask yourself. If you are the most negative, pessimistic reviewer, how you will find loopholes in your paper, how you will reject the paper. Plug the loopholes. Second, if a very, very nice reviewer, find out the reasons why he or she should accept your paper. Try to find out how you can make your convincingly, your arguments in terms of literature review, the gap, the contributions, and thereafter the model, and so on, findings, significance, future work. Okay, many of you, when you get the review form from the journals, they ask the following questions: literature review complete, adequate recognition given to the previous researchers, methodology sound or not, results sound or not, and then they'll ask you whether the scope of future work is outlined or not, managerial implications given or not. So these are set of questions that you have. When you publish in Emerald journals, invariably they ask you all these questions as abstract itself: methodology, implications, and so on, limitations. You're supposed to write in the front page. So please look out for journals where all these things are explicitly stated. Please look out the reviewer forms sent by the journals to your professors, where they send you a list of things to be ticked. Okay, whether these things are there or not. Okay, so please look out for those review reports. Please look out for the some of these papers that I told you, Emerald paper journals. They insist on these things being explicitly given, and then try to format your paper. Okay, that's the most important thing. And once again, okay, many times we are fascinated by giving exact methods. Okay, we have to give some ways of solving the real life problems. Otherwise, we'll be solving problems which is in no way of relevance to industry or to real life. In that case, whether I can really modify a method to suit the problem and the real life problems. Sometimes people also feel excited if you start your introduction by giving a real life system and then draw the motivation for that and develop a generalized system. That gets the paper accepted much easier. Okay, so never ever go by the basis of what people have done. Try to give a variant justified from industry. That will really help you a lot to publish. Okay. Okay, for example, call center problem. Now I am working with one of my students on call center problem. Typically look at call center problem. If you look at literature, there are fixed shifts, 8 hours, 3 shifts a day, and then try to find out how much of manpower I should have during every shift. But when you go to the real life, I can also have casual workers who can be drawn even at 12 o'clock, and then they can be sent out by 8 o'clock. I can even draw people at 2 o'clock, send them at 10 o'clock, which means a dynamic shift, nothing called a fixed shift. That means some people come at fixed timings, some people can be drawn any time, can be sent out. Okay, that's the way our country works. So in that case, developing a mathematical model for that is more challenging, because you won't find that existing in the literature. So if you can justify a new problem statement, a variant, by using a real life situation, and then that you give us a motive for study, the paper gets accepted. Okay. Another example, if you look at all these matches that we're developing a mathematical model, for the what you call the traveling tournament problem. Okay, the teams go to different places and play the cricket matches. One good example, right? BCCI, what they do, home away. That is, I play in your place, you play in my place. We won't play in the neutral place. So this sort of variant of the problem is seldom addressed in the literature. So developing a mathematical model, exact or heuristic method for that, where the special scenario exists, that that fetches publication much easier than the one where it's generalized problem. Already people have done work. They are not stupid, we are not genius either. So in that case, if you try to break the ice, there is difficult. Best thing is that try to look at the place where there's a variant, try to do that. Another example is once again the blood bank problem. If you look at blood bank, people typically talk about the 35 days of shelf life and how they develop the inventory models for that. But go to the hospital and talk, they'll say, no, some certain operations, we want blood which is less than 7 days old. Certain types where we can go up to 35 days. So they have the variant, which is seldom addressed in literature. If you handle such problems, the paper is likely to be accepted. Platelets. Many people don't even know the platelets left in only 3 to 5 days. I mean, you talk about perishable inventory. Perishable inventory comes to our mind only vegetables, fruits, or meat, and so on. There's a person from New Zealand, okay? He will tell you how important the problem is for New Zealand, okay? But question is that the moment you go to industry, you find that platelets, shelf life small, blood, once again, different shelf life, different type of operations, you find these things are not handled in literature. Then if you attack those problems, the chance of getting published are much brighter, okay? That's the reason I am saying, and once again, it's a question of putting leg to the shoe or shoe to the leg. You are going to develop a technique because you like the technique fit to the problem or vice versa, okay? Do something that excites you. I'm not here to say that this is right, that's right, okay? Please, okay? Choice of the journal, as I told you, don't be, you try from the top, go down, but see that it's published at least in some journal than not being published at all. Okay, and try your best. As I told you, be proud of the publication even after 30 years. Somebody says for 30 years your paper is bad, how did it get published? You feel very bad. Whereas somebody comes and says you publish in C-grade journal, so what? I tried my best, this is what I am capable of. If everybody is going to publish in A-star, who is going to publish in C journal? If everybody is going to sit in this AC room, who is going to do the sweeper job? End of the day, some 3 sigma has to work. Minus 3 sigma plus sigma doesn't matter, but be the best person in that, okay? So that's the reason I do. And once again, I always keep telling, okay, Sachin Tendulkar, the great person, does it mean that he always hits a 6 in his career? All the 15,000, 14,000 runs had he made only out of 6? No, he also go for leg by, correct? He is not as a leg by, no, it's below my dignity, I won't run. He doesn't say that. He takes it, correct? When great man does it, where are we? Okay, so does not matter where you publish, keep publishing. That at least keep you that passion for research. Never die attitude, never say that giving up attitude will not come as long as you keep pushing it. Okay, does not matter if you publish 100 papers or 200 papers or even 1. Be proud of that. That is more important in life, at least to me. Okay, and how do you choose a journal? Okay, as rightly said, Abhijit was telling, there are about so many predatory journals and so on. Nobody's got a new class of them as open access journals. How do you classify open access vis-a-vis predatory journals? There's a journal called War Perspectives, okay, published by Elsevier. The editor-in-chief is one of the associate editors of European Journal of Operations Research. Look at the editorial board. The editor-in-chief of EGR is on the editorial board. Now, they charged $1,000 for publishing a full paper, $500 for publishing, okay, a technical note. How do you classify this? Please note, they charge for publication, not for acceptance. There's a difference. When you go to a conference, IEEE charges $1,000. There are several conferences that charge $750, $1,000, $2,000. You pay money. What happens? Yours may get accepted. Gets accepted, published online. So that's also in a way, something is paid. So how do you distinguish? The thing is that if it is from, my own thumb rule will be, if it's from an acknowledged publisher like Taylor and Francis or Elsevier, and if the editorial board is really people of high quality, recognition, then you should go for, in my opinion, open access. What's the advantage of open access? Anybody can download an article free of cost. Even if published in top-ranked journals, they ask you a choice, whether you want to have open access, whether you want to pay money, or don't pay money, we'll publish as a hard copy. What is the advantage of open access? Others get to see your paper. Okay, your visibility of your publication, visibility output increases the moment you offer open access. Okay, so in my opinion, nothing wrong in publishing open access journal as long as it is not being taken towards acceptance. There are 2 categories of of viewing it. Okay, so if somebody charges you money for publishing only and then be suspicious. Okay, the type of publisher, Elsevier and Taylor and Francis, the likes of them will not stoop down to the level of accepting a paper. But be careful of other category of journals. There is a journal, the other journal, I won't name the journals. Journals from a particular university hosted by Elsevier. Okay, there are a couple of journals like that. Okay, from Yugoslavia there is a journal. Okay, former Yugoslavia there is a journal. From Saudi Arabia there is a journal. Okay, those journals are published by the university, hosted by Elsevier. They don't charge money from you. They pay out of their pocket. Okay, because they want to publish the university. Correct. So those are another category of journals where you find hosted, and they also put a clause. Elsevier is not responsible for the review process of this journal. There's a disclaimer, okay? Then in that case, you have to take the call, whether to go forward or not, okay? But if Elsevier says open access and you have to pay for publication, in my opinion, go for that because visibility improves. And see the editorial board, okay? That was a matter of concern. If a new person starts, stay away. That's what I like to say. Okay, so that's the reason why I talked about the the journal rating, publication, and so on. And you also look for H index of the journal. Okay, some journals have got very good H index. Okay, some journals got very poor H index, like Thomson Reuters citation. Okay, so what happens there? That impact factor is given only for a certain class of journals. Go for Google Scholar, you may get your citations being 1,000 or 2,000. Go to Scopus, you get used to half of it. Go to once again Thomson Reuters, you get half of it. Okay, so end of the day, what happens is see that at least some decent H index is there and gets indexed in Scopus, what we call SPJIMR JR link. Okay, please look into that. Journal choice, as I told you, okay, ABDC is a good benchmark for you. But unfortunately, ABDC may not suit people like me because I'm basically engineer by qualification. So some of the journals like computers industry will not figure there. Okay, does not matter. Okay, but it's a good guideline for people in the area of management, business schools to follow ABDC ranking. I'm sure IIM Kozhikode also follows the same thing, right? ABDC ranking. Many of the IIMs follow that. Okay, so end of the day, please, as I told you, you have to keep running. All of you know the famous thing, right? When a lion and a deer wake up in the morning, okay, the lion knows that it has to run faster than the slowest deer, otherwise stop to death. And the deer has to run faster than the fastest lion, otherwise to be killed. Okay, whether a lion or a deer to keep running, whether you are a professor at my age of 60, touching 60, or whether a young scholar like Jamin who is touching, let us say, get to get married, okay, does not matter. Both of us have to keep working. That is the dictum in life. Otherwise, he'll come and say that you are not working, why do you want to ask me to work? I can't say that, I'm at the retirement stage, I can't say that, okay? So, end of the day, keep walking, keep running, and keep learning. Okay, that alone can do. And industry collaboration, as I told you, we work with LatentView, where we get a lot or learn a lot about the industry needs, explainability versus accuracy. So how to cater to the needs of industry, that can throw up new research ideas for you. Forget consultancy, forget project. It gives you new ideas for research. As I told you, collaborate in the hospital. You collaborate in the hospital, the patients, how to give slots, how to give slots for the patients to come. Many patients book, they don't turn up. What do? You can't penalize them. So is it possible for us to look at the history, okay, and then find out if the patient has got similar attributes, the no-show probability is very high. Can I couple data mining techniques with slot booking, okay, and then use OR model, output of that is given to OR model, can I do efficient slot booking for the patients? That is another area of research which I look into, where data analytics and OR can come together. So the moment you start looking at this from a different angle, I'm sure you'll get larger, what you should say, avenues for research, okay? And once again, I saw a recent article where people look at the review, sentiment analysis of the students who view the universities. Dig it out, okay? They dug out, got some interesting ideas, then came up with SWOT analysis, that is coupling industry concept with text mining. That's a fantastic area because you don't stop. Basically, your management skills must drive you towards integrating different arena, giving a management insight rather than stopping with the technique. Okay? So my request, as I told you, please diversify. Please keep working. Go on postdoc or somewhere, keep yourself mentally active. The moment you start, depending on your students to do your research, then you also slightly become, what we should say, I mean, unless you dirty your hands, it's just like I become a manager, I don't touch the machine. Okay, as he said, Paul said, the moment I enter a car, I don't know how the car is working. If I start distancing myself with the mechanism of the machine, then I am no more a works manager in the factory. I should know how to handle the machine. If I'm a works manager, production manager, it does not matter. Okay, once I remember Dr. Ravichandran of Lucas TVS went to, Lucas TVS is one of the pioneers in the area of quality, Deming's Prize and all they won. He went to visit a company, Toyota company in Japan. Then the personal manager took him around, explained to him each and every machine. Okay, he was really shocked. How can a personal manager explain this? Then he asked him, how do you know all these things? Very simple. I was a production manager before, now I'm a personal manager. So there's no question of saying that I don't know what is happening. I'm a personal manager, I'm a HR manager, I don't know what the process is. You can't say that. Same way, when you are a researcher, when you're a faculty member, you can't say I don't know how to write a program. At the age of 48, I wrote my own program, even though it's a good old program in Fortran. I still wrote a program. I got a paper published because if I don't work on computer program now, my student will come and say, sir, it's difficult to write a program. I'm working on that for the last 1 month. You have to believe him. Correct? You don't know whether it's lying or telling the truth. Unless you know to work on R, you can't tell your student, no, you are wasting your time. This is not the way to do. You have to keep up. You have to sort of quote unquote dirty your hands with programming. You don't have a choice. Okay? And then once again, please give your best, okay, to your students. Okay? God will give back to you. That's what I can tell you. Okay, nothing goes unrewarded. Okay, as I told you, my daughter did a PhD from Penn State. One of the stalwarts of operations research was Rajendran was her guide. All of you may have seen the book Rajendran, Phillips, and Solberg. He was the guide to my daughter. Such a compassionate guide. Okay, he will give total freedom. Okay, and she got mentored. My son-in-law also got mentored by him. Now both of them, okay, are doing quite well because of that great man. And if you give it to the society, one way or other it will come back to you. It's only justice delayed and not justice denied. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for sharing with us your thoughts and insights. We apologize for the initial delay. Thank you. I now request Dean Sir Dr. Ranjan Banerjee. Sorry, sir. Can we please have you on stage to just present the mementos to our distinguished guests? Thank you.
You should have announced a bit faster.
Okay. We have our chief guest, Dr. C. Rajendran.
It was great listening to you.
May I invite Dr. Anthony Paul Raj to accept the memento as well?
I think Sajeev should be doing all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
As we approach the end of this event, I request Dr. Sridevi, faculty at SPJIMR, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. It's a privilege for me to express warm and sincere thanks on behalf of the organizing committee of the 12th ISDSI conference and all of us here today to our esteemed chief guest, Dr. C. Rajendran, for an inspiring talk and for his gracious participation in this inaugural session. We would like to thank Dr. Ranjan Banerjee, the Dean of SPJIMR, for sharing his precious time with us. Our sincere thanks also goes to Dr. Abhijit Digalwa, the President of ISDSI, for his presence here today. Our heartfelt thanks goes to Dr. Anthony Paul Raj for being the Chief Faculty Coordinator for the Doctoral Colloquium. And a very big thanks goes to all the panelists who have flown down from all over the country to be a part of this colloquium. And we would also like to thank the mentors, all the mentors who have agreed to share their feedback and provide valuable insights to all the doctoral students participating in the colloquium today. Last but not the least, we express our warm appreciation to the many people behind the scenes who worked hard to make this conference happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sridevi. This marks the end of today's event and the commencement of the Doctoral Colloquium at the 12th Annual ISDSI Conference. We at SPJIMR are honored to have all the academicians, practitioners, and students at our campus.
We hope these forthcoming 4 days at SPJIMR prove to be a thoroughly enriching experience to each and every one of you, and we look forward to learn from all the innovative ideas and educative presentations that we have in store. Thank you, everyone. Now, may I request everyone to please proceed outside for the refreshments.
Thank you.